Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this installment, well, the last installment of our diversity business panel discussion. Today, we are doing the African American business owners for this segment of the panel discussion. And joining us is Joy Kervin, Jordan Hubbard, Jeremy Law, and also to Laurie Logan from the SBDC Small Business Development Center. And now I'm going to present Laurie so she can share more about the Small Business Development Center and everything they have to offer.
Excellent. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you all for letting me join you tonight for this series. It's been a great series. This is the fourth of the series. And I'm always excited to share information and resources about the Small Business Development Center at North Central Texas College. I see the acronyms in my name. We don't have them all there. So it's SBDC, so it's short for Small Business Development Center. We are a federally, state, and locally funded program. We have been in operation for almost 50 years, and we provide at no cost business advising, education, and training for people who want to start a small business, grow a small business, expand their business, access the capital. Honestly, anything at all that has to do with your business, we can help you. No cost, confidential, and customized. So honestly, we have 5 business advisors that are experts in the field. They have all been business owners, so they understand the gains and the triumphs of small business, but also understand the pains. They all have at least a bachelor's degree, and most have a master's degree. And we just come alongside people who developed their small business and help them develop that small business to be successful. Again, we are funded by the federal government, the state of Texas, North Texas region, and our host, North Central Texas College. And we have more than 1,000 offices in the U.S. and abroad. We are in Guatemala, Guam, Virgin Islands, and Mexico as well. And with 1,000 offices, we're able to establish even from that satellite offices. So we can be in the rural areas to meet businesses where they are. Many of our resources that we have listed on our website, which is sbdc.nctc.edu. And at our website, you can see the different resources and resource partners that we have, links to, some topics about the business advising, needed permits and so forth, taxes, bookkeeping, but also some minority resources as well. And those links are there. You can also make an appointment with us online, or you have access to our phone number, so you can call us and make an appointment. Our main office is in Denton. We serve the Denton, Montague, and Cook counties, but we do have offices everywhere in every county, an office near you, wherever you may be. Also, on our website, you can get access to our schedule of training, live webinars with experts in the field. And one great thing about being on webinars and being virtual is we can have experts in the field from all over the country, and they are offered, again, at no cost in a variety of topics. One of the most popular topics being the PPP, the Paycheck Protection Program, the EIDL program, the programs that we have in place right now for the recovery of the small businesses. I mean, everybody has been hurting through the pandemic. So we've been coming alongside these small businesses to help them not only survive, pivot their operations, access to the capital, analysis of the cash flow to not only survive, but also thrive. We want you to be successful. Your success is our success, and it truly is a pleasure. We have employed 5 new recovery advisors, again, to meet with everyone. We are meeting virtually at this point. And then with our webinars, we are on those webinars as well to answer questions. They are live, no cost, and you can sign up for any topics that you like. All at our website, which you can Google or go to the sbdc.nctc.edu. So again, thank you so much for letting me be a part. I will be present during that on the backstage, but here to answer any questions anybody might have.
Great. Thank you so much, Laurie. Again, if you have any questions regarding small businesses, just leave them in the chat and Laurie will answer them for us. Well, for you. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to start with Joy. Do you mind sharing a little bit more about yourself, your background, and your business?
Absolutely. So hi, I'm Joy Kervin. I am the CEO of Zarcode. Zarcode is an IT consulting company. We specialize in big data, data analytics, and cloud. And we were established in 2011, so we've been around for a while. I actually have a background in education as well and have taken some courses at NCTC through their small business grant opportunities, and have taken some courses that have helped me with my business.
Very nice.
And I'm very glad to be invited to this event. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Thank you for joining us. All right, I'm going to go next my screen. Jordan, do you mind sharing more about yourself, where you're located, and more about your business?
Yes, my name is Jordan Hubbard. Born and raised in Gainesville, Texas. My business is in Gainesville. I have been cutting hair. It'll be 20 years this year. Started when I was 10.
Oh, wow.
Professionally, I've been cutting since 2014. And I just opened up here in Gainesville in May of 2020. I love cutting hair. I'm a people person. I smile all the time. So if y'all see me smiling, don't think it's anything wrong. I love smiling. Man, just, I don't even really know what to say. I'm overwhelmed, but in a good way, just to be able to be a part of something like this. I'm 29. I never thought I would be a part of something great like this. So I appreciate you guys for reaching out to me and giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of where I come from. It's been a lot of overwhelming support with opening up a barbershop, especially, and it's wow. So I really do appreciate you guys for thinking of me, just to be a part of this. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, no problem. Thank you again for joining us tonight. All right. Lastly, Jeremy, do you mind sharing more about yourself, your business, and overall background and your location as well?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeremy Law. I am the owner and founder of Jeremy Wine. We are a Texas wine brand. Our hashtag is Texas grown, Texas made. I've been in the wine industry for about 7 years now. Started out as an enthusiast, and then moved quickly into selling wine, and then starting my own brand. It was all out of the need to push Texas wine outside of the state of Texas, and to be one of those Texas people that shows the world that Texans can do anything. It's when I got your request to be on this panel, I thought it was just so serendipitous, because I actually went to NCTC for a few years. And so I remember those years fondly. And so to be on the other side of that is so awesome and great to see kind of where my path has led me. I'm from Sherman, Texas. We are a Texas wine brand, as I said. We are located in Addison, but our grapes are grown in West Texas. We make our wine in East Texas, and our wine is stored in Central Texas. So we're all over the place.
Great. I love the Texas pride. Yes, I'm here for it. All right, let's get started. Okay. And feel free to jump in with the questions, or we'll just start calling on people. Just FYI. Okay, the first question. What personal characteristic or trait do you believe has helped you the most in your professional success? And do you mind sharing about that as well?
Okay. Well, I mean, I've always loved talking to people and getting to know them on a personal level. I believe it's essential to build relationships in business. And I know I do business with people that I like and trust. So that's what I strive for.
No, that's great. I totally agree with that, Joy. Relationships are so important when you're building a business. For me, I have a lot of people who come to me and ask me to mentor them, specifically in the wine industry. And I always say, you have to have I won't give up attitude. You are going to get no at every turn, right? You are going to get told that you're crazy. I mean, you're going to feel crazy, but you have to know in your gut that you're doing the right thing. And so you have to, no matter what, no matter how hard it is, no matter how hard that no is, you don't give up, because that no is is probably going to turn you to a yes somewhere. Or in many cases, I've realized that it'll come back around to a yes in the best possible way. So whenever I talk to people, I'm like, I get no's all the time. I'm getting no's now, right? But I know that I'm onto something great. And so I don't give up. It's not easy. It's still painful. But I promise you, in 10 years, when you look back at yourself, you'll be like, man, I'm glad I didn't give up. So I think that's a really important trait.
I agree. Jordan, anything you would like to add as well?
Yeah, to piggyback on what this beautiful lady here just said, it's one of those things like being told no is hard, depending on whatever it is that you're trying to do. But I tie that into purpose. And I feel like for me, cutting hair is my purpose. It's what the gift that God gave me to do. So I love serving people. I tell people all the time when I talk to them, if I never made another dollar cutting hair, I would still cut hair because I love to do it. It's my therapy when I'm going through something. I meet people all the time that sometimes they lost a loved one. Sometimes they are just going through something in life, and that 30 minutes to an hour that I'm with them, it changes their whole perspective. It changes their whole mood. And for me, that's why I do what I do every day, because how many people get to say that they actually get up every day and live their dream? I get up every day and I'm thankful because I get to come in here. It isn't where I want it to be, but it's mine. It's something that I get to make into my own thing, and I get to share with everybody else. So that's what makes it all worthwhile at the end of the day.
I agree. Great perspective. Okay. What resources or external influences have helped you become a leader in your field?
Oh, that's a great question. I think it comes back to that networking piece that Joy was saying. Just meeting all sorts of people from all different industries. You never know how that's going to change your life, right? And how it's going to change your path. You'll never know who you're going to cross paths with. So you've got to kind of get uncomfortable with not knowing anything and just getting out there and getting to know people. For me, that's been the biggest like outside force for me, is making myself uncomfortable and getting to know people, and then people seeing my heart and seeing what I'm doing and being like, oh, you need PR, I got you, and we've been in Forbes and all this awesome things because I made myself uncomfortable in that way. So I think it's that. I think it's really important.
I agree, because there's no growth, in my opinion, there's no growth when you're comfortable. So
100%.
Yes. Joy or Jordan, do you have anything to add to that as well?
I agree with her 100%. Being uncomfortable isn't just what she just gave detail about. It's more so about, like, I was talking to someone not too long ago, and they were like asking me the same type of questions. And I told them, in order to do what I do, or in order to do whatever it is you want to do, being uncomfortable is a part of the process. A lot of the times people want to skip the process and they want to get to the end part of it. But a lot of people aren't willing to work those extra hours. A lot of people aren't willing to give up a Saturday. A lot of people aren't willing to, you're getting ready to close up and then someone comes in, or they come by and they want your service or whatever product it is that you have. And it's like, this is what I do. So I'm going to make the best of the situation. I'm going to give these people exactly what they're asking for. And networking has helped out tremendously with that. It was uncomfortable, a process for me personally. It was uncomfortable at first. And I mean, I'm a people person. I sell haircuts for a living. But sometimes it's hard to step out of that comfort zone, especially when you have a fear. And once you get past that fear, man, the door just opens, and then there's no limit to where you can go and what you can do. So
That is true.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. Joy, anything you would like to add as well?
Well, first I want to say I love what Sheremy said about being uncomfortable. That I've heard that from several people, and I think that is great advice. You have to be unafraid to get yourself out there and to take chances, especially if you want to have your business be successful. And what Jordan said as well, trusting the process. And I feel like that applies to not only business, but really just life in general. I know for my daughter's track club, I hear her coach telling them this day almost daily, trust the process. We're doing these workouts. This is what's going to get us, you say you want to go to the Junior Olympics. Well, this is what's going to get you to the Junior Olympics. So definitely love what they said. To add on to that, I would say a great resource just locally, since I'm in Denton, Stoke, which is a local co-working and entrepreneur center in Denton. Where I actually have a membership, and they have a mentor program, and they frequently host events on various topics that support small businesses like mine. As a matter of fact, I just spoke with one of the mentors from Stoke last week about a new opportunity that I have for my business, and I wanted to get some feedback from him. So I feel like no matter what stage you are in your business, having a mentor or surrounding yourself by other people, other entrepreneurs, I feel like that's essential. I'm also a member of a few groups like Her Texas, Black Founders Texas, Badass Ladies of DFW, and some others. But those are some really great ones that I would say, if you're an entrepreneur, you should definitely look into joining those groups. And then surrounding myself with women like Jasmine Brand. She's a serial entrepreneur in the DFW area. I see Jeremy knows Jasmine. And just
That's
several
my
other
girl.
like-minded. Yes. Jasmine is awesome. And so, yeah, just surrounding yourself with like-minded entrepreneurs, it just really helps you have a support system, just like anything else.
I agree.
It's essential. It is essential to surround yourself with entrepreneurs and people that will speak life into you. And because there will be days that I always come back to this because I think entrepreneurs, if you hear the statistics, there's a high statistics of entrepreneurs who are committing suicide because they do not have a support system, because some nights are dark, right? And so it's important to have people around you that will speak life into you, specifically when you're doubting yourself and everybody else is talking crazy to you. Joy, that you even say, Jasmine, that is I love her to death. She will speak life into you, and you think you can, go through the wall. But that's just so, it's so important, right? And you have to know another piece of advice. I don't know. I feel like giving advice, but you have to, all of this like awkwardness that you feel, and you're like, well, should I be feeling this? Like, yes. And you're not the only one going through it, right? Entrepreneurs. And I think there's been a push where entrepreneurs are starting to talk about their, mental and which is a huge thing, and being like, oh, wait, you go through these dark times? Oh, I do too. I'm not a failure because of, I couldn't get out of bed or whatever that looks like. And so I think it's so important to surround yourself with people that will speak life into you, and no one that will tell you you're crazy or be like, you're crazy, but I think it's a great idea. Go for it. But any kind of negative talk, you can't have it. You can't.
I agree. Thank you for highlighting the mental aspect. I kind of want to segue from the list of questions that we have, because I do want to touch base on the mental aspect of being an entrepreneur, and just see, just for hearing you, Jeremy, like being able to surround yourself, as well as Joyce saying, being able to surround yourself with like-minded people. Is there anything else that you'd like to add on to that about keeping a clear mental space and the push to move forward when it comes to the barriers that you will have in being an entrepreneur, that anybody would like to share?
I would say it is almost imperative in a way to have like-minded people, because I hear a lot, your mind is going a million miles a minute. And it's like, I don't even know that I do it, but it's like, it goes from the next thing. What can I do to make this better? What can I do to enhance this? And then it goes to, well, am I doing my best? Is this going to fail? Is this going to take off? When is it going to happen? and then it's just so many range of emotions that it goes through. So to touch on what these ladies said, I would say it's almost imperative. Like if it is imperative that you have people that can not only understand where you're coming from, but maybe they have already went through it so they can give you tips on what to do to get through it. Because sometimes we don't know what to do to get through it. Sometimes you get so stuck in a state of mind, it's almost like you're just sitting there, you catch yourself staring off into space of like, what am I doing? Am I doing this right? And it's just like, wow. Then you meet someone and it's like, you know what? Say, I've been there. You're fine. You're at the exact place you need to be right now. And it's like, oh God, thank God somebody is there to reassure me that what I'm doing isn't, and I'm not crazy for thinking, okay, well, I want to do this, this, and this, and this over a 2-year span, over a 1-year span, or in 6 months, I want to have this. It's like, people are like, man, you tripping. It's like, don't tell me I'm crazy for the way that I think, because my train of thought isn't yours. But then you have someone that's like, yeah, no, they tripping. You got it. And it's like, yeah, I know. So you just kind of run with it. And then from there, it's cool, man. It's really cool.
That's great. Yes. Definitely need like-minded people, especially those everyone shared, that will speak light in you in life, because it's so needed. And especially like y'all are risk takers. Y'all are the risk takers of the world that helps us sustain. So y'all need support, and I could speak for myself. I support you all.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. The next question is going to be, what professional challenges have you faced as a Black person in this community or the entrepreneurial community, and how did you overcome them?
Love it. So the wine industry. So I'm in the wine industry, and there are not many people that look like me in the industry at all levels. So those who are executives or own brands, all the way down to working in production and in the vineyards and things of that nature. It's just seeing me. When you see someone that looks like you, you're automatically like, you run to them. So in 2020, the wine world was literally shaken awake. I think the whole just Black community, it was just shaken in 2020. And so that translated into the wine world, where there was a lot of people pointing out just how segregated the wine industry was on all levels. And so how I've dealt with that, first of all, I didn't realize it when I went into the wine industry that it was so segregated. I thought it was only me. Like, no one wanted to talk to me. No one wanted to work with me. No one wanted to give me a chance or whatever. Anytime I walked into anywhere that dealt with wine, people would look at me like I'm crazy. But I've changed that into a power, right? If you are going to treat me differently and look at me differently, I'm going to give you something to look at, and I'm going to give you something to talk about. And so that's how kind of, I've been working that aspect in the wine world. But again, I'm up against like any other Black person when it comes to finding capital, right? Having to be 25 times better, even 1,000 times better, right? To even get a little bit of a look towards investor or, people who are like, who want to come alongside of you in your business or anything like that. So I'm definitely up against that. And so it's one of those, I think as Black people, we don't know that we've been like brought up in that, and you fight against it. In 2020, I woke up and I was like, wait, that's not real. One, we're all going through it. Two, it's not normal. Like, we shouldn't be doing this. So it's been an interesting 2020, 2021 as a Black person in wine, I tell you.
Facts. I can
only imagine. Jordan, Joy, anything you'd like to share regarding that challenges and how you overcame them?
Well, I've been in situations where men didn't want to talk to me. They just because they preferred to talk to a man instead of me. And then I've had situations where they want to know, they're more interested in, instead of talking business, they're more interested in, well, what's your background? What are you? Because I have different looks. So I am of mixed race. And so people, want to know about that. And it doesn't bother me at all. But I just always find that, to me, that's a little bit of a challenge sometimes, when people are more concerned about that than the business. I just move on, and I just don't let it affect me. I've learned that I have to be prepared for situations like that, and don't take it personally. I believe that it's important to educate yourself on doing business within different cultures. So learning about that, I think that that's essential, especially if you're going to do stuff internationally.
Or even Joy, even it's so interesting that you said that different cultures, so important. We've been talking to people around the world about our wine, so that's been a fun thing. But I think even so, like your own backyard, right? Like we didn't all grow up together. And so it's kind of having to have this open mind about how you deal with people like this and people like that. And, setting yourself up for success in that way instead of thinking, I don't know, people are against you or whatnot. You just have to learn how to deal in those different communities.
That's right. Jordan, anything you would like to add as well?
I would say that for me, my biggest fear whenever I first started cutting hair professionally, not only would I be successful in it, but a lot of people, of course, I started cutting hair in Gainesville. I started cutting, I can remember middle school, high school, taking my little lunchbox to school with clippers and stuff. And I never thought that this was what I was going to do. So whenever I started in the industry, I was like, I want to be in the city. The city's gonna, I'm gonna get my love in the city. Yeah, everybody here, I know they support what I do, but are they really gonna support me when I try to take off with this? So I left and I was gone for 6 years. I cut hair in Louisville, Dallas area for 6 years. And then when I came back, COVID had hit. And I remember things had kind of fell through once COVID hit with where I was. I was in Irving at the time. I had just moved to a location in Irving with a friend of mine, and COVID hit, boom, that deal is done. Came back and I was like, God, whatever it is you want me to do, I need you to lay it out there, and then we'll worry about everything else later. And I just happened to be driving one day. I drove by the building I met, called the guy, talked to him. And it's weird because people have this thing to where sometimes they don't think that because I'm a black guy with tattoos and stuff that I know how to talk proper or whatever the case may be. They see it like I had on my do-rag before this interview, and I was like, I'm gonna take it off, But it's like people automatically look at you and they have their own perception of you, and that's fine. That's what we deal with on a regular basis. But I'm like, I'm gonna call him, I'm gonna talk to him. I'm talking to this guy. He's cool. I'm letting him know what I can do. I meet up with him, and it was the first time in my life someone actually looked at me for me, seeing the tattoos and everything, and didn't judge me, was like, you know what, I'm going to give you a try, and this is what I'm going to do for you. So I had went to him, and I told him, like, hey, this is what I can afford. This is what I can do. I prayed about it. I said, God, if you make this work, then we just going to take off. And the gentleman that I ended up renting from, his name is Thomas. He's a very, very sweet older guy. And, man, I'm talking about when I tell you he blessed me just because I stepped out on my own faith, and I was like, you know what, if this is what I'm supposed to do, this is going to happen. And he talked to me with respect. He showed me something different than at this day and time. We not really getting it. And that's not a slug at anybody. It's just the reality that we live in, like there's sometimes I remember when I first opened, I wear, I have polos, like I have my hoodies and stuff. And then some days I'm lazy. I put on sweats and a do-rag. And then, it's like when I'm dressed up, it's one thing. But whenever they see me in my do-rag relaxed, it's like, oh, here's, what I'm saying? Like it's changing. It's just like I'm the same person, but I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. And not only am I doing this for myself and my kids, but there's so many of my family and friends here that they are now stepping into their purpose and their dream because they see me doing it at 29. And it's like, you know, for me, I feel like that's too late. But for them, in their mind, I've had people personally tell me, bro, you can't just on time because I was afraid to do this here because of where we live at, because of what we go through, because of everything that's going on in the world. Sometimes it's hard for Black man or Black woman to step out and do anything because it's like we already walking around with somewhat of a target on our back for no reason. But then it's like, you know what? At the end of the day, whatever purpose we have is going to come to pass because when you genuinely do things out of the kindness of your heart, nothing can stop it. And that's the thing, like some people get mad because they can't stop what you're supposed to do. But opening up here in Gainesville, I told myself years ago, I ain't gonna do it. It's not gonna work. And I've had the most success here than I ever had anywhere else in 6 years. I've been open not even a year yet, and the first 6 or 7 months was like, oh my God, Lord, make it happen. But now it's like, you know, I feel like I tell people all the time, man, I don't deserve none of this. I'm not perfect. The God I believe in made all this happen for me. And I'm thankful because my stewardship ain't perfect. I'm not the perfect, you know, Christian or whatever, but I got all this, and it's just because I'm genuinely trying to just be good. I'm genuinely trying to serve a purpose. And I feel like that's where my success comes from. Everybody I meet, if they ask me, I tell them the same thing. I don't have none of this without the God that I serve. I don't have none of this without you guys. I tell everybody that comes in my shop, thank you so much for coming through. I acknowledge people. I cut a lot of kids and I make them feel comfortable. A lot of barbers don't cut kids because of whatever reason. I go out of my way to make a kid comfortable. I go out of my way to do certain things because I know how I want to feel in any establishment I go to. So I try to give that energy off of what I want in return. And it's paid off, man. I can't wait to see next year where I'm at. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to network with you guys. You two ladies, like, let's network. Let's do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm all about that. So, yeah, it's just overwhelming sometimes, but it's great at the same time as well.
I love that. You know, I'm not the fact that you even stepped out in Gainesville is a huge thing. Not gonna lie, when you were like, I have a barbershop in Gainesville, I'm like, I don't even know if I've seen Black people in Gainesville. So I'm so happy for you and so grateful for your success. And it brings, you know, it opens up your community and that to make people want to be seen. Like I said, I didn't know there were a lot of Black people in Gainesville, but seeing you do that makes other people come out from the shadows and show themselves and put their businesses and their stamps on the city. And I mean, I just think that's so awesome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I agree. That's so great, Jordan. Like just taking a leap of faith because I know, like you said, you grew up there, but you weren't so sure that your business was going to flourish there. And here you compare it to being in like more towards the city of Dallas and now being an hour away, and the expansion that you receive is great. It really is, especially being a minority business owner, being a Black man owning in a predominantly white area. So that's really great to hear.
It's one of those things, like, you know, to whoever's watching the live, like, I've been put in place to where I get to be a representation for all these little, not only just Black kids, but mainly like these, like our young Black kids and dudes my age. Like, man, say, dude, we can really get out here and get it. It's more of a mindset, and the fear subsides once you step into it. I ain't gonna lie to you, it's hard at first. It's scary. It's like, whoa. But then it's like, you know, I was at Walmart and I'm pushing my buggy, and this kid, I've never met this kid in my life. So my name is Grindhard Barber Studio, but I was going by Grindhard Huck. Huck's my nickname. That's my nickname. My aunt gave it to me when I was a kid. So that was my name on Facebook. And I kid you not, I'm pushing the buggy in Walmart, and this little kid, I've never met him, seen me on like a Facebook marketplace page. And he's like, hey, you're Grindhard Huck. And I'm like, I almost cried because it's like, whoa, like, it's a kid I don't even know, but it's like you can really have an impact and you don't even know it. And it's like I'm telling you, I just stopped for me. I almost cried, and I was like, you know, don't do this here in public. But sometimes you have to, you know, just be thankful. Sometimes I'll stop and just like, you know what, thank you, God, because with everything that's going on right now, this is this is something positive for people to look at and be like, you know what? Maybe what we think or what we were taught to think, maybe we need to reevaluate that. You know what I'm saying? And then to the ones that are looking up like, whoa, like he's a product of this bad environment or whatever, and look at what he's doing. Yeah, man, come on, we can do it together. Let's see how we can make it work. So
Yes, I am definitely about uplifting, especially the youth, because we're visually what they see to aspire. So I agree, and I love that story about the little kid. That's cute. Okay, let's see. Um, as a Black entrepreneur, let's see. Trying to figure out how to word this. Have you seen Black representation in your field, and what has the experience have been? I know, Jeremy, you said there's not as much representation, and I agree, being a wine enthusiast as well, and that's something I really hope to see expand. But everyone mind sharing about their experience with representation in their industry?
In the barber industry as a whole, there's a lot of male and female Black barbers. Everyone's different. It's one of those things like with cutting hair, what they teach us in school. You're going to cater to the clientele that you want to. So everybody's different. And then there's a lot of people that do things exactly the same. I think for the most part, the representation is good because with us doing what we do, cutting hair, serving people, being in people's faces all the time, like, now mind you, yes, there is that bunch that might fit the description or the whatever the stigma is that we supposed to have. But then there's some like, like 6-figure barbers, 7-figure barbers, like they're doing things that it ain't even like I never thought of, like just the simplest things that they do has paved the way for us now. And it's just like, there's some really great things that are going on. So with barbering, and I would say Barber and Cosmo is kind of the same thing. Like, the industry isn't that bad. It's just one of those things like, building the capital and getting the respect is kind of hard at times, but overall it's pretty good. I can't really say anything negative about it. I wish it could be better in the aspect of, like it's hard to get a business loan. Sometimes it's like, right? Even if you have good credit, it's like, dude, y'all about to make me go through all these but it is what it is sometimes. So
I believe it. Joy, Jeremy, anything you would like to add? Or Jeremy, would you like to elaborate more about the industry?
Yeah, it's so funny. Not funny, it's interesting about the wine industry as a whole, and the representation of Black people in it. That's the whole reason why one of the reasons why I started Share Me Wine, because in the state of Texas, there are only 5 Black-owned wineries that are 100% Texas. We've got some who have a winery permit, but they don't do Texas wine. There was only 5 of us, and there's over 600 and something permits in Texas. 5. I mean, that's insane. So I wanted to bring some color to Texas wine, but then back it up. Like I said, in 2020, the wine world was just changed, turned on its neck, right? And a bunch of wine brands, Black-owned wine brands, came to the forefront, but there was no place for us to go to kind of collectively push forward. If we say Black-owned wine brand, you're probably going to think of 1 or 2 brands. They've done excellent in their marketing, but there's a host of us other ones. So how I'm dealing with that is I'm working with Soiree Coffee Bar in Dallas, Texas. They're a Black-owned coffee bar over in Trinity Groves. And I'm curating a global Black-owned wine brand list so that there's a place in Dallas where you can go and get excellent quality wines and support Black-owned wine brands. And so that's how, I think one thing 2020 has showed us, 2021, is we're done asking if we can sit at tables, right? We're done asking if we can be invited to the table and can I speak and, here's my worth and da-da-da. it's no, I'm going to build my own. And then if you want to come and join me, come and join me. Or, if you don't believe in what I say, fine, I'm doing my own thing. You're going to see how awesome it is. And then you're going to be begging to sit at my table. So that's kind of been my philosophy as I've moved forward, is like, I'm not, no, like you were saying, Jordan, getting loans. And, I'm actually starting my fundraising. We're going to start fundraising for our expansion. And it's one of those, like, I have to do it differently because no one's going to give me the loan that I need. Family doesn't have money. So you just have to build your own stuff and go from there, I think.
I agree. Anything you would like to add, Joy, as well?
Yes, I have seen representation in my field, but it is very, very limited. I mean, very. Black women in tech and IT, there's not that many. One of my favorite people I love to, that I always love seeing every post that she does on LinkedIn is Tiffany Ricks of Hackware. She is awesome. She has really made a name for herself in Dallas for cybersecurity. And that just makes me so happy when I see people like that. Another friend of mine, Erica Millette, she's starting a business that's called Beyond the Ball, and just basically talks about, we're not just basketball players, we're not just athletes, we are programmers, we are scientists, we are stuff like that. And to me, that is super important, and it has to. It's essential that this begins at the elementary education level. We have to get students have exposure to those STEM field careers, and it really has to start at the elementary education level to really make that impact. So, and places like Perscolis in Dallas, where they have, they're focused on getting minorities into the IT industry and providing resources for free education. If you're committed, there are some opportunities out there like that. But yeah, that's all I have on that.
Thank you, Joy.
And Joy, you made me kind of think about, like, when you're talking about kids and getting in there and teaching them that STEM, but on the other side of it, they need to be able to see people that look like them in these fields, right? Like, that is so important. I still work a day job, so I'm crazy. And I do data management. And so literally, actually my team, we're very interesting. We have 3 Black women, but we're an interesting team. But data analysts, people in, just tech field in any form or fashion, not very many Black people, Black women, not many. So, but it's important that Black people get in these fields, right? If we're wanting to raise up these kids to fill those roles.
I agree. And thank you, Joy. Thank you for highlighting those types of opportunities that's available for students and students of color to get in industries where there's not as much visibility of Black people. So thank you for highlighting that as well. Let's see. We kind of highlighted this throughout our conversations. I wanted to touch back on this. How have you had to navigate professional situations differently?
Ooh, it's kind of loaded.
That's a good one. It's how I think as Black people, I didn't really understand the term code switch, right? It's, you're having to dress a certain way, talk a certain way. And a lot of people are talk down on that, but I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you got to play the game. Business is a game. It really is, right? Like, no one's going to give you anything. No one's going to hold your hand. You have to learn how to play the game, and you have to learn how to play the game with the big boys. And so, I think one of the hardest, not the hardest, I don't think it's hard, but having to read your audience and fit in with that, right? So that people can hear you. Because if you go in one way, all people are thinking about is you're not fitting, and they're not listening to what you have to say. Now, if you walk in, confident and, all these other things, that's when they hear you. And it shouldn't be that way. I'm not saying it's okay, but learning how to read the room and fit yourself in that room. Obviously, yes, be seen. But learn how to do business, and learn how to do business like the professionals, and learn how to do business like, corporate America and the big boys, and, all of those things. It's so important, I think.
Completely agree. Jordan or Joy, anything you'd like to add as well to the conversation?
I personally feel like I haven't had to navigate situations differently. I'm just always myself, open and honest. I know that everyone plays an integral role in a business, whether they're the custodian or the CEO. And I'm just my authentic self. I appreciate when other people are authentic, and that's the only way I know how to be. So that's what I do.
Jordan, anything you'd like to add?
I agree with a lot of what both of these ladies said. Let's see. I think the one thing that I personally encountered is just what's the best way I can put it? Responding to adversity. Response. Sometimes doing anything as a Black man, Black woman, when your buttons are pressed, you're automatically assumed to respond a certain way. And you can't respond a certain way. So it's like chess, not checkers, as Shermy said. Playing the game with the big boys, you got to get your hands dirty, but you got to do it in a manner to where they can be like, you know what? I got to respect him because he respect her or whatever. And it's like, tough skin. You got to have a tough skin doing anything for anybody, but especially as a Black man, Black woman, tough skin. Got to have it because it's so many of the little things that we get critiqued for that is a pass for others. So what do? You go cry in the corner, or do you like, you know what, I'm going to take that lick, but just know that we about to get there and it's about to be great. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with both of them ladies. I haven't really just experienced anything negative, but I have had my situations where it's like, you know what, I think I handled that pretty well. But in the back of my mind, I'm talking a whole different way in the back of my mind. So it is what it is,
I agree. Definitely, you worded it very well. Response to adversity.
And you playing that long game, right? You put that in the back of your head and be like, don't you worry. I'll get mine. I don't need it now. I'll get it.
Yeah. Strategies. It's like it'd be the best satisfaction sometimes comes from not even necessary. It doesn't come from speaking. It comes from the proof. It's sort of like, I ain't going to tell you nothing. I'm just going to let this be what it is. And then you're going to be like, oh, okay. I ain't got no choice but to respect it. I don't like it, but yeah, you're going to respect it. You see it. I'd be like, you know what? You see it. Yeah.
Yes. Let's see. Okay. So the next question is going to be, how can new Black professionals, entrepreneurs, prepare themselves to be successful? I know everyone has a different version of success, but do you mind sharing possible resources for their next steps to be seen, or even creating their own table, or pulling a chair up to a table that is representative of them?
I think that the saying, how does the saying go? Stay prepared so you never have to get ready. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm misquoting it. It's one of those things like, to anybody that's out there watching this or whatever, prep. And what I mean by prep is, yeah, as an entrepreneur, your mind goes and you're thinking about this, and this, but actually sit yourself down. And if you need a mentor, if you need someone that's done it, Get with them people. Don't be afraid to reach out to somebody. Someone might tell you no, but there's always going to be somebody that tells you yes. Write down your goals. A friend of mine told me years ago, she was like, Huck, you need to get a vision board. I said, what's a vision board? I ain't never heard no vision board. And she was like, this is where you write down your dreams, your goals, what your plans are. And I'm like, man, I ain't doing that until I was in Louisville working. I got a suite, and it's like, I'm trying to go to a bank, open up an account, and they're like, okay, well, what's your business plan? Because you want a loan. What's a business plan? Prepare. Business plan, your goals, write everything down, go over it, fine tune it, and tailor it to what you want it to be. Do not be scared. It's okay. Fear is normal. Uncertainty is normal. Being uncomfortable is normal. But allow your mind to get past that and step out on it. There's 3 people right here, and there's 4 people right here, and many more that can attest to stepping out and believing in what you have wrote out. Because if it doesn't work the way you wanted it to, that's fine. Don't give up on it if it's something you're truly passionate about. You'll get a million no's, but then that one yes trumps those million no's. Be ready to be critiqued just based on what you look like. Be prepared to have those hard days to where it's a little bit harder for you, but it's easier for them. Don't look at somebody else's situation, because everything that each of us have discussed has been our own personal journey, and that's a part of the process. Don't skip the process. That's a part of it. Shermie's journey ain't my journey, but I can relate because she had to go through something to get here. Joy's journey, same thing. She had to go through something to get here. Everybody's story is different, but it correlates because we all have a testimony. We all have a story to give. Be like, you know what? Shermie, I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Her journey is speaking to this part of the world. My journey is speaking to this one. Joy's is speaking to this one. So we're all affecting each part, even if it's not directly your part or what you're doing. We're giving you gems. We're giving you something to be like, you know what? Like, I see her doing it. It may not be exactly what I'm doing it, but I can do this. I can do this. I can get up every day and be proud to get up and be like, you know what? I'm the best nail tech. I'm the best wine connoisseur that's out there, but somebody else has already did it and they're good at it. And it's like, yeah, I want to be like her. You know what I'm saying? Like, so many times we highlight, you know, of course, the presidents and the people in places of power, but we don't highlight the entrepreneurs that are, you know, sometimes a trade is one of the best things in the world. People don't really talk about trades. They want to push these young children and kids, young Black men and women. You got to go to school. You got to do this. We need more doctors and lawyers. Yeah, we need that, but we need a Shermie that does wine, so our people feel comfortable going somewhere and getting some wine. We need a Miss Joy who does the cybersecurity. That's a Black woman that's doing something that ain't heard of. Be the next. That's unheard of. Be the next. Yeah, they did it, so we about to turn up and do it too. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my opinion on it, but.
No, totally agree. Totally agree, Jordan. I think one thing for me, when I first, in my head, I said I want to start a wine brand. Then I let it out of my mouth, and I had no money. I had nothing to get there. I just knew I had a vision, right? And every time I come up against something, I always tell myself, what can I do right now? Like, at that point, when I first had the idea that I wanted a wine brand, what could I do right now? Start networking with people in the wine industry, start working on my mindset, start working on some of those things that would keep me back from, you know, being a business owner. So for me, I've worked on, you know, interpersonal skills with people. People tell me I didn't know, you know, you're not introvert. I'm very much an introvert. I used to be deathly shy when I was a kid. But you can't sell wine if you don't talk, right? I knew that was an issue. So working through that. And then every step along that way, because you'll get really crazy if you look at the big picture and like that's the only thing you look at. You go, okay, that's where I'm trying to go. Look down. What's that next step that I can take, right? What's that next thing that I can do right now? Because, you know, we want to be a 15,000 case production. Well, you know, we're at 4,000 or 400 cases right now. If I look at what it's going to take for us to scale that, I will be like, I give up, because we're not at a place that we can do that right now. But it's like, what can Jeremy do right now, right? She can network, she can, you know, all of those things. So when you are first starting, I would say get your vision. Where do you want to go? Make sure you're putting into place paths to get there, but always be thinking about, what can I do right now to make me get to that end goal? Now, hey, it may take me 10 years to get there. It may take me a year or whatever, but I'm gonna take this one step, and then this next step, then this next step, and this next step. I think that's so important. And then working on yourself, like your mental, you know, I keep going back to that because I did a lot of mental work. Working on that, working on your physical self. That's so important. So it's more than just, I'm going to start a business. You give so much of yourself to your business. Your business is you, especially when you're small businesses like us. Like you're the everything. You write the checks to the IRS, and we move the wine, and then we go sell it, and then we go sit in front of CEOs, and then we bottle it. And I mean, we're just everything. So you got to work on this.
I agree 100% with the mental health, physical health, which all really kind of encompasses mindset, having the right mindset and surrounding yourself with others who have that mindset too. That can make all the difference in the world. As far as resources or next steps, I always say, start with the free stuff. There's no use in spending money if you don't have to. There's plenty of resources out there that you can pay for, but, visit your local SBA, SBDC, join networking events, attend startup events. Like Denton has a startup night. Dallas has a startup week. There's several groups on Meetup and Facebook that you can join. If you're looking to do business with the government, you'll need to know about different certifications that are required. The Census Bureau has several statistics available for market research that pertains to your industry. I mean, there's just so many resources, and even for business owners, and also for educators who want to teach our youth about getting into these fields where we have underrepresentation. So, yeah, I love what everyone said, and that's all I have on that one.
No, totally agree with that. Start with the free stuff. And usually what they'll end up doing is help put you on that path to know what direction to take, right? And let's say you go to a free seminar, or you start networking or whatever. It always opens that next door for you, right? Where you're like, oh, okay, I need to take this, or I need to pay for that, or I need to do this. But yeah, starting off with that free stuff is that first step to help get you before you put all your savings on the line or whatever that looks like.
I agree. And if y'all all mentioned utilizing free stuff, and then Jordan, you mentioned about business plans and stuff like that. And I just want to quickly highlight, as we had on Lori on earlier, about the Small Business Development Center and the locations is available in our service areas that NCTC serve, as well as other centers throughout Texas as well, and nationally as well. So definitely utilize them. You don't have to have a plan to have a meeting. They will help you develop a plan. So there's so many resources available. And I also want to mention, Jordan mentioned this earlier about trades and the demand of those, and that you could be a successful business owner. And NCTC has several trades available. Just explore our website, ask questions. We are more than happy to share information about those resources, about trades. Okay, this is going to be our last question of tonight. It's going to be a two-parter. Um, let's see, what is the greatest professional advice that you receive and would like to share? And also, to what would you, sorry, anything you would like to also share to our NCTC community that's viewing this?
I love that one. Never give up. That is probably the biggest piece of advice that I've gotten. Never give up, right? No matter what, never give up. And to people out there, NCTC, don't give up, right? Like put stuff in place to be success. I think it's interesting. I was talking to my fiance about this. One of the interesting things is when I was in college, I wasn't truly thinking about the future. And I look back and I'm like, man, I could have taken this business course and I could have, did this and did that. And I didn't take hold of those opportunities. So now I'm having to learn so much, right? When I could have paid for it. Well, I was going to college anyways. I could have paid for it then, now I'm paying for it in a different way. So make sure that each, class that you're taking, each decision that you're making, you're looking at it as, how is this going to set me up for my future? Not just let me mark it off the list because it's something I have to take.
Joy or Jordan, anything you would like to share for closing remarks, a piece of advice, and also to what would you like our community to know more about you and your background?
I would just say be patient. Be patient. Like Jeremy said, don't give up, and surround yourself with people who support your business goals. NCTC is an awesome higher education option with multiple opportunities in several fields and trades. I love that Jordan brought that up and that you added on to that, Michelle. The staff at NCTC goes above and beyond to assist students, no matter what stage of life they're in. I've witnessed this, and it's a place to grow and discover your potential. And I proudly serve on their foundation board, on the Denton Foundation board, and that's because I believe in what they do, and I want to, expose students in the area that this is an option. There's so many things that you can do. We have scholarships available. Apply for them and share the word. And they also, not only that, they also have an athletics program in their Gainesville campus, which is phenomenal for those students who are unable to go away to a four-year university or can't afford a four-year university. There's several options that NCTC offers. So I would never pass it up. It's a great place to go and learn and grow.
Thank you, Joy. Jordan?
How can I put it? Prepare, apply, repeat. Consistent cycle, repetition. Don't base anything that you're doing or make it contingent upon those around you. Yes, surround yourself with like-minded people, but at the end of the day, keep in mind that the success that you have is solely based upon you and the work ethic that you have. No one can give you more or give you less if you choose not to put yourself in that type of situation. As far as like a barbershop or anything, that whatever it is that you choose to do, don't be afraid of the rough patches. Don't be afraid of the journey. Don't be afraid of the trial and error. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to, okay, this didn't work. And then you're going to go back and forth all the time, but just do it. Build a good, solid support system of people that are going to encourage you along the way. That is going to be one of the main things that keeps you focused, is people that speak into what you're doing and they don't take away from what you're doing. If your desire is to be a lawyer, do that. If your desire is to be a plumber, do that. Just do whatever it is you do and make it your own thing. It's sort of like there's a million, well, let me not say a million. There's so many different brands of bread. The bread makers ain't worried about what the next person's doing. They just want to give out the best product that they can to compete. So whatever it is you choose to do, You choose to jump into the barbering industry. There's going to be 1 million barbers. There's going to be 750,000 of those that are good barbers. There's going to be barbers that do this better than you or that better than you. Worry about perfecting what you do, because once you do that, you're going to build your own identity. You're going to build your own brand. You're going to build your own thing to where, yeah, there might be so many, but people want yours. People want what you have. And that's how you're going to build. That's how it's going to grow and it expands. And once you get to that point, remain humble, because all of this it can be taken away, but remain humble. And then, Lord's willing, you'll be able to have it for many years to come, and you'll be able to bless people. You'll be able to give your story. And from there, others can then jump in the boat. Like what we're doing right now, some kid or someone may be watching this, and then in 5 or 10 years, they're going to be on this panel talking to somebody else. All we're doing is keeping the ball rolling. So when you get into that point, just keep the ball rolling. And from there, sky's the limit.
So true. Thank you for sharing that, Jordan. So we're going to wrap this up. Thank you again to all our panelists and those that are watching, as well as Lori Logan with the Small Business Development Center of North Central Texas. To wrap it up, we're going to be going over to our mixer. It's in the link on Facebook as you're watching it. But before we do wrap up, I just want to have our panelists share their name and their location and their business one last time, just so everyone is aware. Again, thank you so much, everyone that has tuned in, and thank you, our panelists, for so many gems that were dropped, and they're so applicable to not just entrepreneurship, but also to just being a professional in general, like in corporate America. So, Joy, do you mind sharing one more time about who you are, where you're located, and your business?
Yes. Hi, I'm Joy Kervin, CEO of Zarcode, and we are located in Denton, Texas. We specialize in big data analytics, and cloud, which is necessary in every single industry that you can think of. So if you need help, we are here. You can reach us at zarcode.com.
Perfect. Jeremy?
Hi, yes, Jeremy Law, owner and co-founder of Jeremy Wine. We are 100% Texas grown, Texas made. Everything that goes into our bottle is produced here in the state of Texas, including the grapes. And you can find us online at www.jeremywine.com, or you can follow us on social media.
Perfect. Jordan?
Jordan Hubbard. I'm located in Gainesville, Texas. 323 North Commerce. I am just down the road from the historic district. We specialize in fades, shaves. I love kids. Bring those kids by. I got kids. We'll have a good time. We'll let them watch the Netflix. My barber brother that I work with, Phil, he specializes in fades. Talking about an old guy with wisdom and knowledge and can cut. Cold-blooded. Y'all come see us. We're here. Everyone's welcome. We don't just cater to one type of hair texture. We do straight hair, coarse hair, anything that you guys have, we can do it. And if we can't, we'll let you know. But it's going to be a good time. Please come see us.
Perfect. And Lori, do you mind repeating the locations that is available in our service areas?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Lori Logan, director of the North Central Texas Small Business Development Center, hosted by North Central Texas College, serving the Denton, Montague, and Cook County satellite offices in Bowie, Texas, Gainesville, Texas, Denton, Texas, Corinth, Louisville, Flower Mound. We are at a center near you. You can utilize our services, make an appointment. All of our resources and the training events are on our website at svdc.nctc.edu.
Perfect. Again, we're going to wrap this up, but please feel free to join us at the mixer if you have any questions that you would like our lovely panelists to answer. It was so many gems, wisdom that was throughout our conversation, various perspectives. And if you're just interested in how to get started, they're more than happy to answer those questions. Again, the link is in the comment section of the Facebook Live link. and we'll be joining there shortly. Thank you again, everyone, for tuning in.
Thank you.